Well, hello everyone. It's Sibyl Star, and I'm going to be giving the astrology forecast for the Capricorn New Moon. But first, I'm going to talk just a little bit about the winter solstice. This new moon takes place on December 23rd, and the winter solstice is on December 21st. So it's still very much in that energy. And so the winter solstice occurs when the sun moves into 0 degrees Capricorn. And the solstice means the sun stands still. It means stand still. The sun takes a pause. It isn't moving. Its place in the sky does not change. The path that it takes does not change for 3 days. And so like I said, the sun takes a pause, it appears to stand still, and then the light starts to grow again. After 3 days, the light grows again. We start getting a minute more light in the morning and a minute more light in the evening, 3 days after the winter solstice. And so I think for us as well, it means to take a pause, to get centered within ourselves, deep within this winter time, and to get really clear on, what we want to plant. The winter solstice is a time to plant our intentions, our seeds of what we want to grow in the coming year. And so at the new moon as well as at the winter solstice, Jupiter is in a square, and I'm going to talk just a little more about what that means. But first, I want to just say we've been having, many planets in mutable signs, and mutable signs are very much about our perception in the world, our dreaming, our ideas. It's more in the mental realm. We've now moved into cardinal signs, and at this new moon, which is on December 23rd, we have 6 planets in cardinal signs, and cardinal signs are much more about initiating action. Okay. So we will have the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Pluto in Capricorn, plus Jupiter in Aries, and they're all cardinal signs. And so, as I said, the sun has moved into Capricorn, and Capricorn is the archetype of the wise elder. And here in the northern hemisphere, it's the dead of winter, and it takes a lot of wisdom to be able to get through some pretty harsh winters that we have in the northern hemisphere. And it's the archetype of the grandmother, the grandfather, the one who has wisdom that is gained from living, from experience, not from books. And often Capricorn is an energy that gets better with age because their wisdom grows. It's also the wisdom, the wizard, the CEO, the boss, or the authority figure. It's ruled by Saturn, and Saturn brings teachings of maturity as well as manifestation in our 3D world, and through the law of consequences. For every action, there is a reaction, or we reap what we sow. So Saturn is one of our major teachers. So it teaches us how to make choices that are in our highest good, and often through mistakes. Capricorn and Saturn is often like climbing a mountain. There's having a goal and really climbing towards that goal. It's a practical, responsible. It's an earth energy, very connected to Mother Earth, being very. It's a sign of common sense, integrity. Right livelihood is very important because it's one of our work signs, and often requires solitude. And in the winter, it really is, here in the northern hemisphere, winter is a time for solitude and going within in the dark part of the year. The shadow can be the desire for control, loneliness, or a workaholic. As I said, this new moon is in Capricorn is at 1 degree of Capricorn at 2:18 a.m. Pacific time on December 23rd. And the sun and moon are square Jupiter, and Jupiter is at 0 degrees of Aries. It's called Aries Point. It is that point of pure potentiality, where everything is possible. And like I said, it's the time to set our intentions for the coming year, plant the seeds in your consciousness. And Jupiter at Aries Point is also the new beginning of it's about new beginnings, because it is the beginning of the zodiac. In zodiac, all things begin at 0 degrees Aries. And Jupiter is brings blessings, opportunities, through self-enterprise and initiative, and also asks us to believe in ourselves. And so I feel like this new moon has the potential, this square is a very compelling and dynamic kind of an energy, and it has the potential to bring our dreams into manifestation. It is a really wonderful time to plant your seeds of intention, what you would like to have occur in your life, or what you would like to accomplish in the coming year. And I love the Sabian symbol for 0 degrees Aries. It is a woman has risen out of the ocean. A seal is embracing her. And of course, the ocean represents the collective unconscious. And it 0 degrees Aries arises out of 29 degrees Pisces. And Pisces is that place where we are all one. And Aries is about individuation. And so it's a rising out of unconsciousness into the awareness of individuation. And in Native American tradition, seals bring abundance and providence, and awareness that we are not alone and always cared for. So as I said, it's an opportunity to bring our dreams into manifestation through self-initiative, self-enterprise, and most importantly, belief in ourselves. Jupiter has to do with our beliefs. And in Aries, it is about believing in ourselves. And Jupiter in Aries asks us to take a risk in this time of pure potentiality when anything is possible. Take a risk, believe in yourself to create what you want. And, creation, and this is one of the things we are really learning, is that we are creating our reality in every moment, and to how to create what we want instead of what we don't want. In higher frequency dimensions, the law of consequences acts much more quickly. And so it's very easy to see where we've gotten off track. But here in 3D, it's much more difficult. And one of the things I've just recently heard is that is one of the big teachings here, is when we incarnate into 3D world, it is to remember how to create, that we are creators. And it's just that we don't always see our creations don't manifest as quickly. And so, and there's 3 components to creation. It's our emotions, our thought forms, and then the action that we take, okay, in relation to those. And it's like where we focus our energy is what becomes manifest. And I feel like we've had some major events that have prepared us to really create what we want. And the first was in the eclipse season. It was very much about the emotional body and how we cleansed our emotional body and brought to light our true and authentic feelings. Okay. And that happened in late October and early November, when we have the eclipses that were so powerful. Then we had, when it came into the Sagittarius Gemini energy, which the mutable signs, and we had 6 planets there, which then brought in new ideas and perception, new ways of seeing the world. And now with this Capricorn and Aries in the cardinal signs, now it's time to make choices and start to create action, which really brings or act, put it that way. Okay. And the square is very dynamic and compelling to take action. But the key, of course, is to make sure with Capricorn that you're climbing the right mountain. What is in your highest good is not always what the ego wants. So, how are you being compelled to move forward and take action? Is it in alignment with divine will? And to also recognize that Mars is retrograde still. Mars is the ruler of Aries, and so until January 11th. So as we're planting our seeds, they may still be in the planning stage because it's not time to take action until Mars goes direct. And actually goes out of the retrograde zone. It seems like March is really the time when things really start coming together, because we may need to make some course corrections before we take the leap and be flexible with our plans. And whatever it is we're creating, it may come to fruition around spring equinox, which is 0 degrees Aries, when the new life that we planted at the winter solstice comes to life, or the seeds that we planted at the winter solstice comes to life around the spring equinox. All right, now another really interesting component of this Capricorn New Moon is not just what we are creating and putting into motion in our lives, but it's about health. Because the sun and moon are tightly conjunct the asteroid Hygeia. She's also at 1 degree of Capricorn. And Hygeia is the goddess of health. She was the daughter of Asclepius. Of course, in Greek mythology, they have several different, Genesis origins. Some say she's actually another face of Athena. But the one I like is that she is the daughter of Asclepius, and who held the dream healing temples in Greece where people went for healing. And part of the process was hygiene, was to cleanse and purify oneself and to eat properly and to sleep and to take care of one's body. That's what she means. And Ceres is also in an aspect to this new moon. Ceres is at 1 degree Libra, which is opposite Jupiter and square this new moon. And Ceres is a face of the Great Mother. And Ceres Demeter, she comes out of Greco-Roman mythology. And she represents how we feed and nurture ourselves. The word cereal comes from the word Ceres. And so I feel like and Capricorn is so much about responsibility, is that we are being guided to take responsibility for our health now. To do things we can to support our immune system and to listen to our bodies. And with Jupiter, there is the potential for overindulgence. And Ceres in Libra is also saying to have a balanced diet and moderation in all things to support our health. And also Libra has a lot to do with our connections with others, and to realize that that is also part of our health and well-being. Our emotional health and well-being is not separate from our body. So it's so important to connect with those we love at this time of year. Libra is also the sign of peace. And so whatever we can do to bring inner peace really impacts our health. And so is to get to that place of inner serenity, and is a key to good health. Okay. All right. Some other things going on at this Capricorn new moon. Mercury is conjunct Pluto. Now, Mercury is going to go retrograde at the end of the month. So it only actually goes up to 25 degrees of Capricorn. So it's not exactly conjunct Pluto, but at this new moon, it's about a 5 degree conjunction. Mercury is like at 22 and Pluto's at like 27. So it's still in play. And Mercury is god of the mind and is traveling with the god of death and rebirth. And Pluto brings transformation and regeneration and wants complete honesty and truth. And so I feel like it's really important right now, because Mercury also represents information, all the different ways our mind functions, our perception of the world, the information we take in, how we process the information, our understanding of the information. And so it's about staying aware of what is happening in the world while not participating in the drama. That piece of the series in Libra about inner peace, I feel like there's a piece here that says it's about staying aware of what is happening in the world while not participating in the drama. Okay. And Pluto is also conjunct its natal placement in the chart of the US. It's going to be there, I think, on December 28th is the exact, but it's very close. I think Pluto is like at 27 degrees 32 minutes in the chart of the US. Anyway, and so, and as we know, Pluto brings to the surface any corruption, any stagnation, anything that isn't really serving us. It comes to the surface, it comes to light. And Pluto, as we have known, Pluto transiting through Capricorn, and Capricorn is the sign that has the most to do with the institutions of our civilization, our government, our media, our banking, the healthcare system, not so much healthcare providers, but our healthcare system, all the systems. And so it's bringing to light any corruption, anything that is not in alignment with the way it's supposed to be, because Capricorn is also about integrity, not in alignment with integrity, and it's ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the lord of karma. And so anyway, I feel like it's showing us, number one, the big corruption between the media and big tech, which is ruled by Mercury, and their collusion with the government. It's really coming out, and it's just important for us to be aware of it. And the mind control and manipulation and gaslighting that is still going on, it is still happening. But Pluto actually brings with it the ability to see through the illusion, to see through the veil, and and it wants complete honesty and truth, because it's kind of like, once we can recognize the problem, we can recognize how to fix it or what the next step is. Okay. And it won't easily let us lie to ourselves. Mercury in conjunct Pluto. So it's not, just on the big stage, it's also in our own lives. Those places where we like to tell ourselves things that are not true because it's comforting and it's easy. Mercury conjunct Pluto will just simply not allow that. Because when we know what is true, it gives us freedom to make better choices and to be able to focus on what is really in our highest good. What is our deepest desires? What do we want? And we might find as well that a new form of study comes into our lives with this and takes us really deep. There is also a potential for obsessive thoughts. So remember that you are not your mind. The mind is a tool that leads us to the truth, but it is not necessarily the truth we feel in our hearts. The mind is not going to tell us. It keeps us confused, but it's one of the tools that takes us there so that we know what is true and what is not. All right. Mercury is also conjunct Venus, which is a much more fun energy. It's about the heart and mind connected. And it's a very social aspect. It brings people together to share ideas, have good, deep conversations. And Capricorn is very serious conversations. So it could be a time to really discuss important topics in a mature way. And it's about networking and making contacts to help you further your plans. And the last thing I want to talk about is Uranus is conjunct the North Node and still in a wide square to Saturn. They're separating. But it's the North Node in Taurus, and Uranus and the North Node are both in Taurus. So I feel like this is also telling us to stay deeply connected to Mother Earth and her wisdom at this time. Everything is changing because it must. It's important to stay grounded and centered within yourself and in nature as the photonic light is increasing. As we are moving into a more embodied spirituality, I feel like that's part of what this new moon is about. It's about our health. It's about taking care of our bodies so that we can hold this increased amount of light that is coming in as we are shifting into these higher frequency dimensions. Our body needs to be able to hold it. We know there are many people that are crossing over right now. They're happening everywhere. And I believe part of that is because the body can't hold the increased light that is coming in. So souls are choosing to help us from the other side, as well as needing a new body because the body can't make it in the higher frequency. There are many reasons for people crossing over right now, and we know there are so many. And it's just so important to keep our eyes open and aware and awake, but also to take care of our bodies, okay? That our bodies, like I said, need to be able to hold the light and the higher frequencies that are coming in so that we can make the shift in the body that we have been given, that we have chosen, put it that way. All right. Well, wishing you all a wonderful holiday season, rest of it. A lovely Christmas. Christmas, of course, is on December 25th, part of this Capricorn energy. And if you like this video, please click like and subscribe. And if you're interested in having a reading with me, my information is in the description box below. So anyway, as I said, wishing you all a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Namaste, and see you next year. Aho. Blessings to all.